Fresh off a bye, the Lane Train rolls into Jordan-Hare Saturday night. It's number 13 Ole Miss at Auburn at a 7 p.m. Eastern kick. The rested Rebels already up to 6.5-point road favorites after opening minus 5.5. Total on this SEC West matchup, currently 56.5. Now, a big reason why we've probably already seen Ole Miss take money here is that Auburn just got whacked. 48-18 at LSU, where they were 11-point road dogs. Interestingly enough, Auburn, as is the case with Ole Miss here, off a bye going into that game in Baton Rouge. And that bye certainly did not help Hugh Freeze's Tigers as they fell behind 17-0 after one quarter and eventually outgained 563 to 293 for the game. Let's put those numbers in perspective, shall we? The 293 yards gained by Auburn, second fewest allowed by the LSU defense all season. As you know, the LSU defense has had its problems throughout 2023, particularly the previous two games where they'd given up over 1,200 yards and 100 points. Speaking of struggling, this Auburn offense is averaging just 16 points in SEC play. They've lost all three games. The passing game, really a work in progress. In 3 of their 6 games this season, the Tigers have finished with fewer than 100 yards net passing. Not going to win many games, not going to cover many spreads with those kind of paltry numbers. Especially here when you're facing an Ole Miss outfit that averages 41.7 points per game and put up 55 in a recent win over LSU just a couple weeks ago. But the Rebels are traveling this week, and emotions figure to be high facing Freeze, who of course coached Ole Miss from 2012 to 2017 before getting fired under the most dubious of circumstances, shall we say. Now, as bad as Auburn has been in 2023, here is one reason why you may not want to lay the points with Ole Miss, okay? Last 14 times they've been a road favorite of 3.5 to 7 points. Their ATS record is 4-10. They've also lost 8 of those 14 games outright. Remember what I said at the open. This line, minus 6.5. So we are in that minus 3.5 to minus 7 range where Ole Miss has typically not been profitable in recent years. And it's not like the Rebels have been winning by margin here in 2023. Last 2 games, they've had to overcome fourth quarter deficits to win. They beat LSU 55-49 and Arkansas 27-20. First time in 20 years that Ole Miss won back-to-back games when trailing in the fourth quarter. And those wins come on the heels of the Rebels' lone loss this season, 24-10 at Alabama. Auburn, pretty banged up coming out of the LSU game. Running back Damari Alston, still questionable with the shoulder injury. On the other side of the ball, DB Jalen Simpson, dealing with a calf injury. Linebacker Austin Keys has been out since the opener with a thumb injury. Quarterback Keontae Scott, he could be nearing a return, so keep an eye on the status of all those players for Auburn. Let's also now turn an eye to the history of this SEC West rivalry. Last year, we saw Ole Miss snap a 6-year losing skid to Auburn with a 48-34 win, but they did not cover because they were 14.5-point home favorites, only won by 14. A few other interesting tidbits I'd like to share with you here before we get to the play. Last year was the second time Ole Miss faced Freeze. They also beat him 27-14 as 8-point favorites when he was the coach at Liberty back in 2021. Ole Miss has not beaten Auburn in back-to-back years since 1951 and 1952. However, whichever team has hosted has failed to cover 8 of the last 9 meetings overall. It's a lot of information I just threw at you. What do we do here? I don't want to lay the points with Ole Miss, even though they're rested. It feels like it could be a flat spot for Lane Kiffin's team. But at the same time, I'm not sure I can stomach taking Auburn for a full game here. Remember, Lane Kiffin is not afraid to score late, punch it in, get the cover for his team. So, how about Auburn plus 3.5 in the first half? Maybe a sleepy start for Ole Miss coming out of that bye. And remember, in their last home game, Auburn came out, took a 10-0 lead on number 1 Georgia, and went into halftime tied. Georgia's has not been up to par this year necessarily, but they're still a better team than Ole Miss, in my opinion. So I think Auburn could keep this game within a field goal for at least a half on Saturday night. What do you think of that play? What do you think of the game? Let me know down in the comments section below, and while you're at it, feel free to smash that like button, and make sure you're subscribed to the Wage Talk YouTube channel, where we have a ton of great sports betting content each and every single day. As a reminder, Not only am I coming off a 3-0 Monday sweep, won both baseball games, won Monday Night Football, I am number one at Wager Talk with all 5% releases going back to last bowl season. That includes a perfect 5-0 record over the last month with max bets. 3 of those wins were in college football. And for a limited time, you can get 7 days of my picks, all sports, for just $69. Just use the coupon code 7PASS. That's the number 7 and PASS at checkout. Of course, WT.buzz/BP, the place to go for all of my selections on a daily basis. Now, if you're looking for more game previews, trends, and breakdowns, be sure to click this next video.